You know what people think social media management is? Posting a cute picture, throwing up a hashtag, maybe dancing on TikTok once in a while. You know what it actually is? Strategy, messaging, analytics, video production, editing, caption writing, keyword research, platform optimization, scheduling, community management, reporting, and doing it all consistently enough that it actually grows the business. If you're a business owner trying to do all of that between client calls, payroll, and, running your company, no wonder you're exhausted. At Big Voice Social, we don't just do your posts. We become the voice of your brand online. We build the strategy, create the content, and make sure everything you put into the world actually sounds like you, just amplified. Because social media isn't a hobby, it's a marketing engine. If you're ready for it to finally work like one, head to bigvoicesocial.com. I'm Shane, and I built this company to authentically represent other businesses on their social media platforms. Our team is a team of professional communicators, and that's what we do. So give us a call or reach out at bigvoicesocial.com. That's bigvoicesocial.com. Hi, Nana.
Hi, Mommy.
How you do?
Tired.
You're tired. Well, it's that time of school year. It's January. It's gross out. Is it gross there? It's gross here.
It was like hailing today. It's horrible.
Yeah.
The weather's horrible. It's windy. It's gross. It's just like, no. You
All
probably
right.
have similar weather.
Yeah. What do you got? Anything social, or is it still all rush?
Mostly rush. Alex Earl is coming back to Hot Mess, though, so that's really exciting.
What do you mean?
Like her podcast. Oh, no, sorry. She's coming back to the, Unwell Network with Hot Mess.
Okay.
So I'm excited to be following that, and I'm sure that's going to be trend once she gets her podcast back up and running.
I would like to follow that.
You can.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what about you? I heard you have a good one today.
Well, I got one. This one came up today. This is fresh, hot off the presses. She starts it with, "This is anonymous because my daughter would be mad." Okay. If your daughter would be mad that you're posting this on social, even if you're posting anonymously, don't do it. Okay, so anonymous because my daughter would be mad. If she just got in a class today at 1 o'clock during the drop ad, the classes she missed, because this is during drop ad week, the classes she missed won't count against her attendance, right? There were 2 classes on Monday and 1 today. Does she need to email the professor? She wouldn't be on the roster until after the class today. So somebody comments and says, probably a question she can ask her professor directly. Thank you. Then she responds to that person, "Thanks, yes, she already emailed their professor." Then why are you posting?
You asking if she's already figured it out herself?
This is my point. Why? Yeah. So that's the one today. Don't do that. Number 1, don't post if you know it's going to piss off your kid. And number 2, let her handle it. She is handling it. You don't need the answer. She does. The end. All right. So today, I just want to tell you about our guest today. I'm very excited that Emily Schneider is coming on. Of course, I know her through the Dear Found Her Network. But she is in a similar industry to you, and I think she's going to have some great advice as you begin your job hunt, because she is a graphic designer by trade, but went out on her own, and she designs PowerPoints for other professionals. So she'll tell us more about it, but I'm really excited. She's coming on.
I'm excited.
Welcome to the Social Dialogue Podcast. We're a mother-daughter team, both working in the world of social media management.
Join us as we share our different perspectives on life today, including trends, fashion, friendships, and career, and how social media impacts it all. Together, we bring 2 perspectives to one conversation.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
And we're excited to bring you this new episode of the Social Dialogue Podcast.
Hi, I'm good. I just took a deep breath. Is that how you guys feel still? Or you still feel like you're...
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like I can never take a deep breath.
No, there's no time for that.
No.
Never.
But that's what we have to do. That's like the most important thing. When we can't, we should, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta put on my glow up. You guys are my mirror.
We were just talking about the Kardashians. We should have had the glam team come in.
That would have been fun.
I'm currently obsessed with the Kardashians.
Yeah, I got her to buy me
Tell
Skims
me more.
PJs.
Tell me more.
What'd you say? Jenna?
I got you
More
to
about
buy
your
me
obsession.
Skims. You got me to buy
we have
Skims
matching
PJs.
Skims pajamas. I wear all the Skims tanks under my sweaters.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's this afternoon I was eating Cloud popcorn, which is Chloe's popcorn. It has protein in it. It's delicious.
I mean, protein's all the rage too. You guys are so trendy.
We're so trendy. So you guys haven't met yet. Emily, Jenna, Emily.
Hi, nice
Hi,
to
Jenna.
meet you.
But I do feel like I know you because I listen to you and your mom talk all the time.
And you probably, if you follow my mom on Facebook or LinkedIn or literally any social media.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that so fun? I hope you like it because I have a much younger daughter, but I relate to a lot of the things that you guys talk about or say. And so I hope that you like it because I hope I'm not like making my kids, they're going to cringe when they're older anyway, but I hope I'm not adding to their cringiness.
No, I think like there was a point when she was probably 7th or 8th grade and she was like, can you ask for my permission before you post that? Like, stop just posting me. I'm like, but this is such a cute picture. And she's like, I don't like that picture. Please don't post it.
Now we'll just tell her to take it down.
Yeah, now she tells me to take it down, which I hate.
You have a voice. I couldn't get a picture of my daughter. I'm really into fake mustaches. This is like a whole side conversation. And she was like in my desk yesterday and found one and she put it on and I was like, I have to take a picture because it was rainbow. She wouldn't let me. But like a month ago, she found one and she put it on and she was totally fine with me taking a picture.
That makes me sad. She's growing up. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm going to introduce Emily to our audience. So Emily Schneider is a freelance PowerPoint designer helping business leaders turn their ideas into concise, impactful presentations that build confidence, save time, and make a lasting impact. Emily, we're so excited that you're here. And we have so much to talk about, but I kind of want to start with your business because when I started learning, we got to know each other. When I started learning about who you are and what you do, I was fascinated. You like built this idea out of literally nothing and built a business. And now you're thriving, you're successful. And so we want to hear more about like how you got the idea to launch your business and kind of like what you do for people.
Yeah. Can I answer well, I'm so glad to be here. Let's start there.
Okay.
Like, this is so fun. I've been geeking out about your podcast since you guys launched it. I know, but like I listen to every episode. You guys make me happy. I love all the content. And even though like, to be honest, like social media, I have like I'm reestablishing my relationship with social media and like what's healthy for me. And so it's actually only business forward these days. I don't really use social for personal reasons anymore, but I just love all that you guys talk about. And it's so real. So to be on here is such an honor. And I'm so grateful you asked me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's good that you've sort of evaluated what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I think we should all be kind of looking at that.
I mean, in all life, right? I mean, like, hasn't your relationship changed just between the two of you as like ages and seasons and life changes? I think even like my husband and our relationship evolved. So I don't know. I just, instead of like getting mad at myself for the way social media made me feel, I was like, let's just change what the conversation should be for me. So yeah, but finding spaces, but it's so good to be connected too. And that's like what my work is all about, is helping people connect better. So to answer your question, so like, yes, what do I do? I mean, you kind of said it in the beginning, but I'm a visual storyteller. I love taking like complex, big ideas and helping people better articulate them so that they can talk about them, they can share them, they can tell their story, they can talk about their successes and really like engage in true conversations. And I found this like little weird love of PowerPoint and the ability to do that. So yeah, I mean, it started with like, I used to break things and try and figure out how they came together. And so I kind of do that for my clients. And also realizing that when you make something for somebody and they understand it and they get it, but it's their idea, they glow and they light up in a way. And helping people feel more confident has always been something that's made me who I am. I thrive on helping others. And so it became a really good balance. I realized that this was a thing later on, and I guess I kind of am like off topic, so hopefully you guys do some editing.
This is all on topic.
Okay, great. So I mean, it all started, right? Like I graduated college. I was a visual communications major. I went into marketing. I worked at a shopper marketing agency, which is really specifically at that time it was called below the line, but like you're really just creating point of sale information to get somebody in campaigns to get people to feel or do something to buy product, which was awesome, right? And it was kind of sexy. I worked on beer. I worked for P&G. I worked on big brands. I worked on McDonald's. I worked for Chick-fil-A, Coca-Cola. So it's been fun. But like in those organizations and in marketing, you don't actually like know what your consumer is doing or how they're feeling or how they're engaging with you. You don't really know, except for like sales data, if your campaign was successful. There are 3,004 people between what you do and where it goes that actually like make all these decisions. And I hated that. because I could design something that had so much meaning, and by the time it got somewhere, it's been diluted, or a million people have edited it, or they've had all these random comments because they never knew the story behind it. But what I realized in marketing was like, you always have to sell your work in. And so I started raising my hand every time we had to create a presentation to sell our concepts in to our clients. And I loved being in the room with my leaders. I loved hearing how they thought, how they talked, what they emphasized. And then I realized like, oh, I actually like really like designing how, like listening to them and then designing the slides to hit on those points beyond just the key visual. And so I just started like geeking out about presentation design. I remember, I was thinking about this earlier today. I remember like 15 years ago sitting in my office and like looking at my copywriter partner next to me and being like, all I want to do is design presentations for insurance companies. Well,
That's terrible.
that's kind of amazing and kind of stupid. And like, I kind of do that. And I do have insurance companies as my clients, but I get to make much cooler presentations than just insurance companies. And so I've always like had this weird thing for PowerPoint, but it was kind of a dirty word in marketing and as a creative. Like everybody wants Adobe, or like now there's so many other cool Canva and like all these AI, and like PowerPoint's always been this like yucky space. And I just decided to like not make it yucky anymore. And I really loved it. And so 2023, well, I guess it starts back in 2019. I was laid off at 8.5 months pregnant. And I was like, I'm never going back to working in the same way when I was ready to come back. That like changes you. It's like, right? You always have these like key moments.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I actually used social media, reached out to somebody who connected me with somebody else, and a mentor reached out, and I was able to start my freelance business with some work. Because that's always scary too, to like go it on your own and not know what's next. And then 2023 came, and contract work all like ceased to exist for me. My first meeting of the year, who I was working for was like, we have to terminate our contract 3 months early, and like, we don't have anything for you. And I was like, okay, so like, what does this look like? And so that year was really hard, but I tapped into my curiosity, which is, I think, one of my superpowers. And I realized, I was like, if I have to be humble to now tell people that I'm open for work, what do I want to do? And I realized I just really like PowerPoint. And I was like, F this. I'm going to tell people what I want to do because I want to work, and I want to do, like, if you don't love what you do, why do you do it? Like, you just spend too much time at work. So anyway, so that's like the long story of how I got here. I just realized I love doing something. And then as I started figuring out more and more what I love to do, to your point, like PowerPoint and being a presentation designer opens the door for so many more opportunities than just being a creative freelancer. When I said I was a creative freelancer, people were like, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to use you. When I tell people I design presentations or I'm a strategic designer, they're like, oh, I know exactly what I need. And I have this thing, or I have this person that I need to introduce you to. And so it's been like this magical sweet spot. I call it my zone of genius, to be honest, because it lights me up in a way that nothing else does. And then I help other people light up. And so that's a win-win.
I love that. So when you are in charge of like someone else's story and like making a presentation for them, how are you able to like get creative with that? And then also like when you're revising someone's presentation, like for our audience, like what are your biggest don'ts that you see on people's presentations? So like teachers always yell at us, like, cause I'm in college, about like having too much text on the slide or like things like that. So like it's kind of like a 2-part question, if that makes sense.
Totally. So how do I stay creative? So I think that's really interesting because it's really about understanding what you're trying to communicate. Like what's that single most important thing that slide should say? And probably one that like follows up with like the don'ts of like, you don't want a lot of text on the slide because you don't want a lot of like your key ideas, like 1 or 2 key things per slide keeps your content less. And so you get creative or you get into it because you want to understand what is being said, how it should be said, and how that's going to come to life so somebody actually like understands it. There's like all this like geeky, again, I can geek out about all this crazy stuff with PowerPoint, but there's like this neuroscience behind how we digest information. And I'm sure with social media, there's its own, but when you're in a presentation, how you understand things and how you see things as somebody's talking to you are really critical to align. And that's where actually I think my creativity comes into play, because I can bring in design aspects, and I can share with you in a second, like all of my best tips and tricks. And I actually have a 1-pager if people want like a quick summary that goes into it on my website. But it's really about like, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? And then like, how can I bring that to life that's really easy to digest? Simple is always better, right? Less is always more. And the things that people like mess up the most are, to your point, are like they word vomit all over their slide, or they like overdo it with like animations or effects or colors. And the less you have, the easier it is for our brains to connect the pieces and digest that information. And not just on one slide, but across the whole story. So like when you're talking about something or a topic or you're sharing something, if you have a color with it, use that color on every slide for just that one thing. Because then people start to like remember, oh, you're talking about this, whether it's a quarter or a product or whatever. And that really helps. Breaking things into simple forms helps. Again, I think it's something that I didn't realize was a super talent of mine until I started talking about my work, because I always see life as like shapes and spaces and like how things work together and negative space. And so it just was kind of natural for me, but really it's about subtly breaking apart big ideas so that things become their own kind of containers. I would say, Jenna, like when you're thinking about like your work and your bullet points or anything on your slide, I just had somebody share this with me in the past year. That should actually be your like speaker notes. Like you should have enough on the slide that it communicates what you want to say, but it like tips you off to your speaker script versus somebody to read it. Because death by PowerPoint is a thing. Like we've all sat through those presentations where you're like, this, I could just read this. I don't need to listen to somebody. And so I think that's really important to like simplify. I also use or describe to my clients that I want them to be like a conversation conductor. So like when you go to an orchestra, right, the conductor stands on stage and he or she will lead this orchestra to create this beautiful, harmonious experience, right? Like you have different instruments and sections and how loud and how soft. That's what your slides should be your orchestra to your presentation. Like you're the conductor creating this harmonious experience, and your slides create this beat and this rhythm that people can connect to. Because when we create an emotional experience, we remember it, we feel it, we want to say yes. It's easier to ask the right questions, and it simplifies a lot of those complexities.
I love how geeked out you are on this. Like
it's so weird.
Who wouldn't want to work with you? Like you're so enthusiastic about it. It's fast. It's great. And I wrote down Zone of Genius. I mean, that's beautiful.
Have you read? It's not mine. So it's from a book called The 15 Commitments of a Conscious Leader by Jim Detner. It's one of those books where like you read it and you're like, are they talking to me? Is this mine? Like, are you sure he didn't write this for everybody? I think when we find that spot, and it took me, 40 something years to figure out this is what I wanted to do, right? It was a lot of steps along the way. But when you find your spot, it's so fun to do it. And I'm not ashamed, right? Yeah. And I'm not ashamed that like I design in PowerPoint, because some people, I have conversations with clients too, or like, I don't think you're worth, I don't want to spend that much. I'm like, well, then I'm not your right person.
Right. I have that conversation as well. Same thing. Yeah. You know what's so funny, Jenna, is I'm remembering when you were in high school and you were going to the big conference, the big international conference, and we had to sit through that. There was like a mandatory thing for the parents had to sit through every year. And I was like, why do I have to sit through this?
She still complains about
I still complain about it, and I don't have any kids in BBY anymore. But every year I would be like, why do I have to sit through this? I'm not going. I've raised my children to travel independently. I don't want to do this. And they literally would read the whole thing to me. I'm like, could they just send this in an email? This is a waste of, I would complain through the whole thing. And it was the same thing every year. I mean, and this was just like, they're just talking to high school parents. And it was like important information, but I
think you should have turned your camera off, muted it, and walked away.
I did by the time you were a junior, and then when your brother did it, I was just like, I'm not doing this again. Come on, I don't need to know. I don't care where you pick up the bus. Pick up the bus. Let me know you got to the hotel. Bye. Have a good time.
It is so true though, because like people think, well, and I also think like going back to this like confidence thing we talked about, people think communicating shows that you like know your stuff or you're confident, but actually it shows that like you're not prepared. You haven't really thought about it, and that like you're trying to like, those are like the last minute scrambles when you like overly do it. So like, yes, less is more, because it means you've been intentional and you've thought about it and you like understand what you really want to say. I thought you were going to say it was about a college thing, because I actually got to help Wash U last year and their arts and science department with their like, they call it bear down days. Yeah. And like, I mean, it was like a big deck, and their deans did it. And they were like, we need something that's like more engaging than just like what we did last year, because they're trying to sell their school, because it's a general school versus one of those little, I'm thinking of like the business school or the art school, right? Like it's the general. And so they wanted to show all the opportunities there. And landed. It was so fun to build, but they understood the importance of, I don't need all this information. I need the numbers. I need the things that the moms and the dads or the kids care about, which is like study abroad and like how many people actually get into graduate programs from here and all that stuff. And we emphasized all that, and they said it was like such a different experience for them. So
that's awesome. I remember when we were touring IU and we went to the session, and it was more a video than it was a PowerPoint, but I remember this thing where it was like 2 columns sliding, and it was putting together double majors you could do, and they were like weird, like you can major in this and you can major in this and you can double major, and I was like, who would do that? But it was like something that drew us to the school, that you could double major in all these kooky things together. It was really, it's cool.
Spoiler alert, I'm not even a double major. I have a major and a minor.
We were in 10th grade when we did this tour, so what? Okay, so I think you have another question, right, Jenna?
Yeah, so kind of like switching over to social media, because that's what we do here, and talking about LinkedIn. How did you use LinkedIn to build a business, and what advice do you have to get started, and what are your best practices, and how often should you post? What are all of your LinkedIn tips and tricks? I
love it because I can geek out about this too. So I have literally...
Me too, I love LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn because, like, again, I was saying, like, there's personal reasons I can't handle the others because I start to, like, it's very self-deprecating for me. I start to judge me and my feelings based on how people respond. And, like, that's silly. And I know that's not what everybody does. And that's where I was like, this relationship is not as healthy as others. But LinkedIn is like this space of people want to help people. They want to connect and they want to share information. Like, to be a thought leader is really, it's a positive space, and people support you and they reinforce you. Like, it's reinforcement, and you also can learn. I mean, I know you can learn anywhere, but like, I learned so much from LinkedIn. So I have literally built, until January of this year, LinkedIn has been my only marketing outreach. I have not built a newsletter yet. It's on the cusp for this year. I have a website, but everything has been LinkedIn. So I love this space. I spend a lot of time on there, and I go on there every day, and it's different. It's totally different. So my tips are like, you have to make sure that your profile shows you as you. And part of that for me was like, I don't work from my business account. I literally have a business page just so that icon in my like job thing has an icon, not a generic image. It's like an icon I built, right? That's branded. But I do everything from my personal page because in my life, I'm a solopreneur. So like, you work with me. I sell my work, and like it's me, it's my voice, it's my heart. And that's how I just do my life. There's no difference of me at work and me in personal life. Like, so making sure that your profile page like shows who you are and like really simply tells people how you help them. From your banner being not just a general image, but this is what I help, this is what I do, or this is what I want to do, I think is critical. And that description, I don't know what it's called, but like right under your name, people will put
what you put your job title and things like that.
Yeah, but people will put like really far-fetched, like, because you can kind of name yourself anything. And again, owning my own business, like I could be any title I want in a way, but how I help people and what I do in very simple forms, I think is really important. And again, for me, it took me a second to say, like, I think saying I'm a visual storyteller is really cool, but like, not everybody understands what that means. And it can mean a lot of things. So like, I'm a visual storyteller and I specialize in PowerPoint is so simple. And people are like, okay, now I get it, right? Or I'm a freelance designer who helps businesses better communicate with their audiences through presentation design. But I think it's important to put in there those words that you want people to speak back to, like when you're not in a room, versus, I don't know, I just think when people put, I'm a director of finance, not that's a wrong one, but like, a lot of marketing terms people like put in, or they'll like use jargon, and I'm like, nobody knows what you're doing or how you're helping people. It takes me so long to scroll through. So I think those are really important things. And then like a good profile shot, something that's you, that you're happy, is important. I also think that bio is important. Like, I think all of those key features are critical, but it's so people can know that you're a human. How do they also know you're a human? You post and you share, right? And I think that's where it's helped me share and be a thought leader and get my voice out there and show my work, because people want to see what you do. They don't just want to hear about it. But I like that LinkedIn doesn't always have to have a picture. Like, you can just do post. But specifically how I've grown my business, I spend every day sending new connection requests to 20 people. And I'm very specific about how I do that. I make sure they're LinkedIn premium people, because when you're premium, it means you've invested and you understand the value of this platform and you're more active. So I think that's helped my conversion rate. I had 20 new clients last year from LinkedIn, and I only had 30 clients total in my roster last year. So that's huge to say that they were all from LinkedIn or from somebody who knew somebody on LinkedIn. So connection request, and all I do is click that button and I write a little note. I'm Emily. It's so great to connect. This is what I do. I'd love to chat more of how I can help you. That's it. And if they write back, great. We start that conversation back and forth. And if they don't, that's cool. If they connect with me, even greater, because that means they're interested. They might not be ready, but now that I'm consistently posting, they're going to see me, right? So you got to stay active. But that connecting with people in that LinkedIn premium button, or that top voices, that blue button, I think is to me, one of the best tips I've ever heard. And it changed my response rate. And we know, when you get better responses, you're more excited to connect with people. Then it doesn't feel like a wasted task. So I do that every day. And then I spend, it's not that much time, but 20 minutes a week, 30 minutes a week commenting and making sure I'm connecting with people I want to connect with in terms of comments and post reactions, because again, that helps people know who you are. So as I'm growing my following and my network, and now I'm engaging, LinkedIn gets really happy and they start connecting and showing my work. And I think that's where it's helped, not being afraid of posting on the bigger platforms, in terms of I follow more female founders, or there's LinkedIn thought leaders who have thousands of posts on there, and commenting within those feeds, even though you might think it's nobody's going to see it, you get a lot of impressions. And so it helps, again, the more you connect or you respond to somebody else's comment, it starts to spread the wings. So that would be my tips. It's connecting, and then it's engaging and staying active on there.
Since you're sort of specialized in LinkedIn, I actually would love your opinion on this. So one of the things we tell our small business clients all the time is it's great that you have a company page on LinkedIn, but that's not really, how many people engage with a small business LinkedIn page? They might engage with their Facebook page as a consumer, but they're just much more likely to engage with the public facing people. So we push really hard on if they have a sales team, we want those salespeople to be using LinkedIn to be sharing content. So would you agree with that?
Totally. I think, again, aren't we all seeking, especially I think now more than ever, just connection and human and working with people. And so I think even I've tested, and I moved on a couple years ago. I don't even post from my personal, from my business page. I post from my personal page. I will repost it onto my business page again. So if somebody goes there, they can kind of see it, but it's the exact, it's just a repost, and I don't even add to it. I just click the button to repost. But I think people want people in there. And I think the other thing that you have to be mindful of is LinkedIn likes when they want to be a conversation hub. So when a business posts, unless a business is then commenting on other people's comments, those posts aren't going to be seen. It's the person who's writing the post or who is the thought leader who comes forward. And again, I think people want to know the people behind the business.
I 100% agree. Absolutely. So we kind of covered the whole graphic design piece, which we're interested in because Jenna is minoring in graphic design, although you call it something different. What is it? What's your minor?
It's called Creative Technologies in Art and Design, but same thing.
Design.
It's graphic design, but it's definitely more digital focused. We use softwares to make things in 3D, and we do video art too. So it's not just static design, it's all sorts of computer design. It's really cool, actually.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's married with her major of advertising. And so one of the things that I know she's been working on, because we share a Canva account, she logs into my paid Canva account, is I've been seeing is she's got a resume that's sort of a presentation. So she has her normal resume, but she also has a presentation. So I guess, as we sort of get close to the end, as I do with all of our guests, any advice that you have for Jenna as she embarks, we're in it now, we're in the middle of January. She is networking and looking for her postgraduate career. And just knowing you're in similar worlds, any advice that you would have for her of what she should be including on her resume, if you like the idea of that graphic designed presentation as a resume, just any kind of advice you have for her at this age and stage.
I love it. And I know you asked this question. I was thinking about it this morning when I was getting ready, actually, because I was listening to to Chloe's conversation, which was so good. She's so great. I would say the first thing, Jenna, is, which I feel like you probably are already doing, is leaning in on the connections that like your mom or whoever in your network already has is so huge, because that foot in the door isn't an easy foot in, but it helps, again, put a face and a person to something, and people want to help people. So use my LinkedIn network. If there's anybody I can connect you with, or an agency, I'm sure I know somebody who's been there, or I know somebody, right? Like that is huge, I think, is just making personal connections or leaning in on those that you can. In terms of interviewing, so I am a little, right? It's been 25 years since I went out, and I've been on my own for 7 now, so it's a little different. But I think that there's like 2 things. I love that you have like a more, like not just a presentation, a resume, I'm sorry. I was one who walked around my senior year spring break with a portfolio bag and like a huge box that had boards of portfolio and my creative work, because I didn't have a website. I had literally printouts and mounted, like we spent a lot of room in the computer lab in the mounting room my senior year, like building our portfolios. But I also sent ahead before I met with somebody or when I reached out, like a little teaser of my work. So again, I don't know if that's digital or a website and you can put a password, but people want to see what you can do. And it's not just like what you can do, it's like how you talk about yourself and bringing your personality for it. So like I made sure, even when I showed I had a little mailer that I sent right with my resume. Again, this is so dated, and like I like customized my stamp and all. I mean, like I still have a copy somewhere, but even the way I cropped in on those things and then talked about what the assignment was, how I approached it, and what my solution was, right? Like I didn't show the whole thing. I just gave them a teaser of like a cool part of it. And I think that just got them curious. So like they were like, oh, I want to see more, or like this is more than just like she can do the work, because they're gonna want to know that you have the skill set, but they really want to know how you think and how you bring ideas to life and how you collaborate with people, because that's what advertising and that create, especially as going into your first job, it's just about creating a camaraderie with your teammates, because happy creatives build amazing work. And so if you can partner with people and you can work and you can talk about what you do or why you do things, I think is really important. I know I remember like sitting through, do you guys still have like creative reviews in class and like learning how to
we do critiques in my art class, and then we'll critique work in my advertising class, but I didn't really like that class because I didn't really like the professor. But what we were doing was cool. I just didn't like how it was being presented and taught to us.
Yeah, but that is like what you do as a creative. I still have to present my work.
People usually aren't as mean as that professor was.
No. And so there's like, I'm happy to share with you my like suggestion for like the offline of like, oh, this is really great, but have you thought about this, right? Like just learning lingo to help think differently, I think is like such a great way. Even, I don't know, I've also in interviews been asked like, what do you think about this campaign? And so like you compliment it, right? And then it's like, would you consider, or did you think about, or versus I would do this, I think are softer ways to bring that conversation. But those are critical skills. Again, even when in an interview I remember the job I got, they asked me, they threw all my boards on the floor and they were like, what do you see about these? And I had to critique my own work. It's weird, but like if you can talk about things and even say things you would improve on, like creativity, like design is never done in a way, right? There's always more, which is hard and good. So anyway, so I think it's being able to talk about your work in an honest way, being really proud of it, but also really open to being like, I might have tried this different next time, but I liked this, or I love this project because I learned XYZ. I still do that. Like I just wrapped up something this morning. I was like, I love this project because I learned how to animate charts in a way I've never learned before. So geeky to say that, but so true.
I love it. That is such good advice and so specific for what Jenna's looking for. So yeah, take that to heart. And definitely, Emily, check Emily's LinkedIn, because you never know who she knows. So for sure.
But what kind of agency work do you want? I would love to know.
She's more in-house. Yeah.
Okay, great. I've got that. Actually, that's like better, because I feel like all of my contemporaries are now in-house versus an agency, right? So yeah, let's connect.
We'll connect.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
So Emily, you've given everyone a great taste of who you are and what you do, but if they would like to connect with you, can you tell everyone the best ways to find you? LinkedIn
is always the best. I think it's the easiest. Like we can connect. My website has a lot more about who I am, what I do, how I help people. I will have my services a little bit more articulated in a couple weeks. I'm working on that. But yeah,
what's your website? What's your URL?
Yeah, duh. It's IamEmilySchneider.com. And my LinkedIn is Emily Schneider. I like to also refer to myself as the PowerPoint queen, but I haven't grabbed that handle on LinkedIn yet. I think it's it's good for Instagram, but I don't know if it's good for LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Really, this was such a good conversation. This was awesome. I'm so glad you came.
Me too. Thanks for having me, ladies. It's so nice to see you. And meet you, Jenna. We'll be in touch.
So nice to meet you. Yes, for sure.
Thanks for joining us on the Social Dialogue Podcast. If you liked today's conversation, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating and a review and share it with a friend.
Keep the dialogue going with us on social. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
Thanks for listening.